am here to the home of Jan, the smiling sun champion, and of course Ferrari's biggest fan, as we are now going to the race introduction for round 6 of the 2025 FIA Formula 1 World Championship, which will for the first time this season take place on the American continent, and it will be the Grand Prix that has become a fan's favorite. It will be the Grand Prix of the happy music and obviously the celebratory joyful atmosphere. It will be the Miami Grand Prix, oh yay! And we are ever so excited to be here in Miami. As you can see on that beautiful calendar there behind me, it is indeed round 6 of the championship. And it is finally the first race that with regards to the last season, for example, the 2024 season, it is actually run in exactly the same order. So for the first time ever, and again, it is the second, of course, spring Grand Prix weekend as well. So it means that you will be able to see the race introduction. You will then be able to see the hot lap. Definitely check it out. I did a great job there with the red hot lap. And then you will be able to see the sprint qualifying at exactly the same time. The real Formula 1 drivers will do the sprint qualifying. Then the actual sprint at the very same time that the actual Formula 1 drivers will do the sprint. This is basically new for this year because of obviously, the format of the F124 game is finally the same. So you will be able to see it, and we won't have to, for example, go to the different tracks like you probably noticed in the previous 5 Grand Prix. And of course, then we will take a look at the qualifying run at the same time like the real F1 drivers, and then the Grand Prix proper. And of course, 24 hours after the sprint will finish, we will then feature, hopefully, a very celebratory sprint reaction. And let's hope we can win our second sprint race of the 2025 season. Obviously, we are leading the so-called sprint championship there with Lewis Hamilton, don't we? And of course, even though that's just what I do unofficially, but you could have found it out, right? As obviously I did it last year in a game. I think F1 should definitely incorporate it. It would add even more spice to the weekend and would make the weekend format pretty much perfect. And then 24 hours after we finish the Grand Prix, you will then see the race reaction. This is how it was designed, and finally for the first time we will see it here obviously at the beginning of the May. May is the month of the Grand Prix of all of the cities, so to speak, right? So we go to Miami, Imola and Monaco, and that's how the Grand Prix are named. So not after the countries, as they are pretty much named with the exception perhaps of the Las Vegas or the city-state Singapore, for the remainder of the season. So yeah, lots to look forward to. We are very excited. And in Imola, obviously our home race, you will then be able to see how it was then designed, obviously, for the proper Grand Prix weekend. But Miami is always now a sprint weekend, right? And I'm sure you are very excited because we will be chasing this beautiful Formula 1 Grand Prix win trophy and Formula 1 sprint race win trophy. And I think we have a great chance to do it. So over here in this race reaction, we will take a look at the track. We will then tell you a little bit about it and what we expect as a performance from Scuderia Ferrari, and why maybe that first win is coming not only for our drivers, either Charles Leclerc or Lewis Hamilton, but also for me, Jan, the smiling sun champion and Ferrari's fastest driver. As of course, I've also managed, only race here one previously, but as you will see, this weekend, it's only gonna get better. So I'm absolutely loving this format for the Miami Grand Prix. We are looking forward to, welcome to Miami. It's a great show running around the Hard Rock Stadium in the Miami Gardens. Again, the design of the track is perfect. We will also then take a look, obviously, at the drivers and the constructors championships, and again, what we have to do in order to be ever more challenging for these coveted titles. And then we will take a look at my own performance, which you will then be able to see, for this weekend. And I'm sure, I'm gonna be on fire because this track, excuse me, the Miami International Autodrome is absolutely amazing. It is definitely one of our favorites. We love going around, and yeah, it is a fan's favorite, right? So over here we will take a look at it. I have to say that the first 2 months obviously didn't go that well according to the plan for Scuderia Ferrari. But as we for the second time donned this, the polo, which is not obviously the Team Pro polo, but the original polo, I'm sure we can definitely go for the second sprint victory. We've gotten it with Lewis Hamilton wearing the same fashion. Let me know how you like it. And I do believe, especially in a sprint, we will not be constrained by some of the features of the car, like for example, that playing as you remember. So that can definitely help us to extract even more performance, and then obviously, hopefully, we will set up the car for the Grand Prix so that we are then able to challenge, for the victory. Because again, basically every race, we could have won. The critical part of the whole weekend though will be the qualifying, the sprint qualifying, and the qualifying. And now, having the opportunity to do obviously 2 qualifying sessions, maybe we could, try out some different strategies. But I definitely hope that we will be able to save some tires, especially the soft tires, because recently, the past 2 Grand Prix, we were always able to run very long, right? So as a result, I really do hope that Ferrari tries that softest strategy. Here the tire wear is not so much of an issue in Miami, but hey, the weather could be an issue. It's hard to see what the forecast will be with regards, to the changes that you have. The drivers, at the moment all appear the same. There's not much, more to do, as most of the teams basically came back, recovered after grueling 5 races in 6 weekends, and basically, try to get back, and try to, test the car a little bit more and improve it, as now we have so much of the data about these beautiful F1 2025 formulas, right? So now, as obviously here you can see the beautiful setup with the SF1000T 818 Trustmaster Formula 1 Racing Simulator, which we will put into a great use this weekend. We will now take a look, the courtesy of this beautiful Scuderia Retina Ferrari iMac. We will take a look at, how the circuit looks like and how well we have done here previously. So, are you guys ready to see the Miami Grand Prix? Yes, I wish I was there. Obviously, we are also working for one company that is based in Miami. So over here, okay, let me show it to you. I hope you guys can see it all nice and well over here. So take a look at it. So this is the Miami International Autodrome. Obviously in the hot lab, definitely stay tuned later on today. You will then see how exactly to go around this circuit. It does feature a couple of DRS zones, which is great. It can definitely help you out with that. Basically at the start it is usually a low downforce circuit, as we will explain in a hot lab. Some of the tracks around, for example here, the so-called Miami Marina, that's where we are very strong. That leads us into, this is actually a long straight, we just go full power. But we will definitely be able, I think, to overtake, heading down here into turn 11. This section from turns 11 to 16 is very technical, especially from 14 to 15. But once you master it, there's actually, most of the times when we always remember in Miami, we always planted it on pole position. Mastering this technical section is absolutely critical, and great overtaking opportunities, I would say here at the end of the back straight, because here you have the Hard Rock Stadium, right, where is the start-finish straight, and obviously we will have the DRS zone there as well. And for the start-finish straight, yeah, it's great. It's too short though, so that's why the qualifying will be very important, because probably the way you qualify, the way you will pretty much get into the back straight, I would say. So it will be absolutely crucial. We've been on pole position once, and if we could add more pole positions to it here in Miami, we will be very successful. So about the track, so we can see that it joined the calendar in 2022. Obviously I raced it only once last year, right? You can then see, for example, in Miami that it's about 5.4 kilometers long. Race is 308 kilometers, 57 laps. Once again, pretty much all of the tracks, they kind of have the same length, don't they? If you think about it, maybe now with the exception of Australia, that has been severely shortened, but yeah, the other tracks, they're pretty much the same length. The lap record held by the Red Bull Villain, 1 minute 29.708 from 2023. So we will see. That's definitely a lap time that we could beat. This is how the Miami looks like over here. So lots of great countryside. And here on this official Scuderia Ferrari website, we can see that we still haven't won over here, just like in Saudi Arabia. Otherwise, in all of the previous Grand Prix, we would always win. Obviously, we've been ever present in the championship. But at some of these newer tracks, recently we haven't had much of a success, but we did manage to plant it on pole position in 2022. What a pity that we were not able to obviously win in 2022 as well, not having the fastest lap yet, and 3 podiums. So basically that tells you that we are almost guaranteed to get a podium, and we will definitely have to do that. Leclerc obviously has already he's already got over here the experience of being on pole position, and I really do hope he will replicate it, because he is very quickly closing on the 4 main challenges with some scintillating performances. So over here, this is how it pretty much looks like. So let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship. So at the moment it looks as follows. So Oscar Piastri is now the leader with 99 points. Second is Lando Norris with 89 points. So 2 McLaren drivers now leading the championship. Lando Norris obviously did pretty well here last year, right? That was, kind of like his breakthrough win, and kick-started his maybe unlikely challenge, title challenge last year. So, maybe the lead of the championship could be switching, because we don't know which driver will have an upper hand. Third, Max Verstappen, 87 points. We actually do not expect Red Bull to be very competitive here, which will obviously open up the doors for some excellent performances from not for George Russell, who has 73 points, but from 5th Charles Leclerc, 47 points. For Leclerc, obviously, with a sprint, so now you don't have the bonus point for the fastest lap, so you are only able to get 33 points. But as a result, Leclerc could go to 80 points, could definitely challenge Russell. It would be great if Leclerc could leave with Miami and head for our home Grand Prix in Imola in the 4th place. But, I believe if he is at least within a touching distance of winning in Imola, and then being able to overtake Russell almost automatically, that has to be the goal. So basically, being within 10 or at least 15 points of Russell. 6 is Andrea Kimi Antonelli, 38 points. I fully expect that 7, our second Ferrari driver Lewis Hamilton with 31 points will definitely jump Antonelli, especially he did so well in sprint. I do expect Hamilton to be challenging for a sprint victory again, and if both Ferraris can get on a pole position with probably a Leclerc or Hamilton victory, that would be great. Again, technically Hamilton could obviously jump Leclerc, so if after Miami we are 5th or 6th, but definitely ahead of Antonelli over here in any kind of formation, and closer to Russell, significantly closer by at least 10 points. That would be, pretty good, and that would be a mission accomplished here in the dancing city of Miami. Other competitors will then be 8th. We then have Alexander Albon with 20 points, 9 Esteban Ocon 14 points, 10 Lance Stroll 10 points, 11 Pierre Gasly 6 points. And then we have 12. Nico Hülkenberg 6 points, 13 Oliver Behrman with 6 points, 14 Isaac Hadjar 5 points, 15 Carlos Sainz 5 points, and 16 Yuki Tsunoda 5 points. So far, drivers who didn't get any points: 17 Fernando Alonso 0 points. I do expect him to get off the mark. 18 Liam Lawson perhaps could get off the mark with 0 points. 19 Jack Doohan 0 points, definitely has to get off the mark, because there are some speculations that we could have another driver's change. That was actually right from the beginning of the season. And 20th Gabriel Bortoleto, if Sauber gets lucky, for example, with weather conditions, he could also get off the mark, obviously the reigning F2 champion. So this is how the Drivers' Championship looks like. And now we can take a look at the Constructors' Championship. So for the Formula 1 teams, you can see that McLaren is leading with 188 points, cannot be overtaken no matter what happens. Second is Mercedes with 111 points, and third is then Red Bull Racing with 89 points, right? And FORZA FERRARI, Scuderia Ferrari, fourth over here, 78 points. So definitely, because there will be actually quite a lot of points on offer, as we do know, from the sprint. You can get 58 points on offer, so technically we could, get ahead of the Mercedes, but definitely the bare minimum is to jump the Red Bull. We don't expect Tsunoda to have a strong race either in a sprint or a Grand Prix, so we definitely have to be third and very, very close to Mercedes-Benz. It's definitely achievable, because I do believe that we are second, if not the fastest car now at the moment. Definitely based on what happened in the great Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And other teams, then 5th Williams, 25 points, doing very well so far. 6th Haas, 20 points. Then we have 7 Aston Martin, 10 points. They're kind of stuck there. They better be careful. 8 Racing Bulls right behind them with 8 points. 9, obviously Alpine 6 points, and 10 Kick Sauber with 6 points. So you can see that some of the teams are knocking at the door, and we will see exactly how that will go. So that would be the teams Championship, the Drivers' Championship, and over here, this is how the circuit is designed on the beautiful Scuderia Ferrari website. So the Miami, again, you know, promises lots of action. It was a great race, obviously, last season. And you know, with regards to us, right? So you do know that we love racing here in Miami. I did manage, you know, to get my first pole position in the ground effect era over here. So I'm definitely aiming for the second one. But you know, I went for a high downforce, so definitely low downforce setup is the way to go. You know, that's why, for example, I haven't, you know, managed to even get the points or let alone get on the podium over here. But I did set the fastest lap time, despite obviously finishing, you know, lowly in the back. So I definitely expect, I'm pretty sure that in the sprint weekend over here, we will make it right. We will once again plant it on the pole position, set the fastest lap time, because if we are the fastest in the race, you know, Miami is relatively easy to overtake. You know, that track features several overtaking opportunities, as you will see in a hard lap, and I'm sure I can get my first Miami victory and first Miami sprint victory here, right? What do you think? Well, definitely based on how well, you know, that season, the F1 2024 is running, as I'm obviously playing it concurrently with this great F1 2025 season. I have to say, you know, that I'm so far obviously unbeaten in, you know, the Grand Prix and also in the sprint. So it's definitely on the cards, and, you know, I would definitely love to win in Miami and lift this beautiful Formula 1 Grand Prix winner trophy. And I hope our Ferrari drivers will do it too, and we can celebrate with the Ferrari's national anthem, the Italian national anthem, of course, you know, as we start to challenge for the coveted Formula 1 drivers and constructors status. So now, everybody, are you ready? Can you hear the music in Miami? Of course you can! Forza Ferrari! Let's race here in Miami under the scorching sun in Florida. Oh yeah, let's go! Forza Ferrari!